Hello, welcome to Flutterbug Auto. Today I'm talking about toy car racing games. And by that I mean games focused on the concept of toy cars. Like, the setting is driving around in houses and gardens and things like that, and everything looks really big from your perspective. You know, racing games that play with the concept of being small scale. And I'm excluding brand names from this exploration because, you know, there's a million Hot Wheels games, even some Matchbox games, Micro Machines, Lego racing games, etc. I consider those, especially Hot Wheels, to be their own category essentially. So I want to take a look at games that are purely about the concept of toy cars themselves and not tied to a brand. And I'm also not counting games that have like toy car segments, like maybe one or two tracks take place on a small scale or in a giant house or things like that. That's also another different thing in my opinion. We're looking at games fully dedicated to the toy concept. It was also actually surprisingly difficult to track down toy car racing games, but I did manage to find a good handful, and I've narrowed it down to 3 for this video. Before I get into the ones I picked for this video, I do want to give a brief and unfortunate shout out to Toy Box Turbos, which I absolutely wanted to check out for this video, but it seems to have been scrubbed from the internet as far as I could find. The PC release was only through Steam, and it got taken down from Steam in 2021, and I could find nowhere else to get a hold of it right now. It did come out on Xbox and PS3, but I do not have either of those systems, so that's a dead end as well. It's a really nice looking game though, and I would love to cover it, but as for now, I cannot, unfortunately. But anyway, I was inspired to make this video originally by this game I got for 99 cents called Menace, which I wanted to check out and maybe do a video on, but as you'll soon see, I quickly realized it was not going to make for a very good video on its own. So that's the other reason I wanted to look at some more games today. So anyway, let's take a look at Menace, shall we? In terms of first impressions, this game is really rough. The main menu has this weird blurriness to it, and the car models look like really bad here. In-game, it looks mostly fine, but on the menu, it's so ass. I have no idea why. I also love this battery in the background, labeled battery as well. Very good. The menus themselves are remarkably clunky. You can't just move around menu selections with the analog stick like normal. You have to press the shoulder buttons to change which section of the menu you're currently selecting in, which is like, it feels monumentally bad. I have no idea what compelled them to do it like that. And normally I don't even comment on game menus. I've never had a reason to before, but this quirk was so annoying I had to bring it up. But yeah, when you get into the car selection screen, you're going to find an absolute fuck ton of DLC cars and options, and just, I don't know why, A, they made so much DLC for this game, or B, why anyone would ever buy any of it. It's just a million extra car models, and a million extra varnishes, which all just cover the car in shit. Like, literally, it's a ton of small variants of making the car look rusty and dirty. I don't understand. Once you actually get into the game, it's very clear why I was able to get it for 99 cents. This is an incredibly cheaply put together game. I don't think this game has an original asset in its body. It feels like it's using an incredibly basic off-the-shelf car controller for its movement, and I think they tuned the physics to the floaty side, perhaps to give it more of a feeling that the cars are small, but it just kind of feels bad, actually. Any wrong move and your car is tumbling all over the place. And despite what I said about the assets earlier, there was definitely at least some bit of thought put into designing the levels, like the little toy wooden blocks that spell out Mini Madness, and just the general track layouts had some interesting shortcuts and stuff like that. And there's also a lot of strange choices, like the use of fucking Lady with an Ermine and the Mona Lisa. What? There's also this one part with a TV with footage on it of what I assume is another game by this developer. You can also tell, of course, that they're trying to go for a bit of a Hot Wheels thing with those orange tracks. In general, I think the track layouts and environment designs are not half bad, all things considered, but the cars themselves are just regular proportioned real-life cars, not really playing into the whole toy car aspect, so the whole game feels a bit hodgepodge and like it was uninterested in its own concept of being a toy car racing game. It's just kind of an incredibly basic racing game with slightly fucked up physics, you know? And the car models themselves are kind of, let's say, subpar. I don't think it's quite normal to be able to see through the car through a crack under the windshield. So in total we have crappy feeling driving mechanics, serviceable environments and track layouts, and subpar car models. Oh, and don't let me forget that the CPU players feel incredibly stiff too. It's not sounding like a great total, is it? I was gonna give it some points for this thing where when you land a hit with a weapon, you see a little snapshot of it happening, because that's really fun. I really like that. But turns out the next game I'm gonna talk about also does that, and they do it a bit better. So I'm a bit less impressed with the idea of being here after seeing that. Speaking of the weapons, they're kind of lukewarm at best, nothing to write home about in the slightest. Some of them are kind of high concept though, like this checkpoint item where you place a checkpoint and then can warp back to it. Like, what even is the utility there? There's also the transmitter item, which seems to be for finding secrets, but it also seems to be entirely useless during races, so I have no idea. They also otherwise have nothing to do with the toy concept either. They're just all kind of generic sci-fi looking guns and stuff like that. There's also like a million races in this game. I cannot believe how many tracks there are, though a lot of them do seem to be repeats. I particularly enjoy the track titles Stairway to Hell and Stairway to Heaven. I didn't end up getting very far into it though, because the gameplay is it's just that clunky, honestly. It just doesn't feel good at all. I had to reset a race because of a bad tumble one too many times and I was done. It just doesn't feel good at all. Thankfully, the next two games I'm covering are much better. Both are games I actually enjoy quite a bit. So, next up, we've got Super Toy Cars. This game is also on the smaller budget side, but you can feel a whole lot more passion and effort went into this one. It's definitely just an actual game, firmly outside the realm of asset flips. This one's also doing much more with the toy car concept. The cars are so adorable and chunky and round. They're all so charming. The environment design is really cute too. Besides just the typical house environment, you've got places like a candy shop and a garage, all done really well, I think. I really like the flow of this game. The drifting feels super satisfying, though sometimes slightly confusing to pull off. Like, the amount of braking required feels a little bit arbitrary. Sometimes you need to use a handbrake, sometimes just braking is good enough. And with certain cars, you kind of just start drifting automatically no matter what. But anyway, yeah, I really like how the drifting feels. You slide so smoothly. I like the way the mechanic works with building up a boost, because while you're boosting, you can start your next drift and start charging up your next boost. So if you time everything really well, you can just constantly boost around the track, and it's really fun. Plus, going over jumps charges the boost as well, so you can really chain it all together really well, and it's a lot of fun, in my opinion. That said, I am not sure the game is particularly well balanced around this mechanic, because I quickly found myself developing incredibly massive leads over all the CPU players, partially because of this mechanic, and also partially because the game gives you so much currency so quickly that you can buy much better cars than your opponents really early on, and then you just obliterate everything. The landmine levels tend to be the great equalizer. Driving a race with random mines everywhere tends to cause enough problems that you can't just solve it by going faster. There's a good variety in general with the level types. There's time trials, regular races, elimination races, checkpoint races, which work like old arcade racers, where you have a limited time to reach each checkpoint, and of course the landmine stages that I mentioned. There's quite a lot of levels in the game too, and you can score up to 10 points on each, and I had a lot of fun trying to get 10 points on every stage. Also, unlike Mini Madness, the items in the game feel a lot more suited to the toy car format. I was particularly fond of the big 8-ball. And also, as I alluded earlier, when you place an item on the track, you get a little camera view of it and you can watch when someone runs into it, which I really enjoy a lot. And I wish more combat racers and kart racers like this would do that, and it's way better implemented than in Mini Madness. In that game, you just get a little screenshot basically, but here it's a live feed of what's going on, and it's really fun and cute. I think if I was gonna levy a real complaint at this game, it'd be that the game is sometimes really overzealous with resetting you after a fall, because sometimes I'd literally just go over a jump and the game would reset me. Like, what? But aside from that, and the slight inconsistency with starting a drift, I had a really great time with this game. Plus, I also noticed that the game has 2 sequels now, so let me know if you'd like to see me cover those. I might just cover them anyway, because I'm really curious to see how they stack up over the original. And lastly, on our little tour of toy car games, we've got Pocket Wheels. This one's not out yet, and doesn't even have a release date yet as of the time of recording, but it does have a little demo I found and checked out recently. This is another one of those car games that starts falling more into the platformer category than the racing game category. You do have your usual driving mechanics like boosting and drifting. You've also got this crazy little side roll move, and you've also got just jumping, and it doesn't even stop there. On top of that, you can just fly. Your car sprouts wings and you just start flying. And you have a grappling hook. You see what I mean? It's much more of a platformer than a racer. It's a great combo of the 2 genres in my opinion though. The level design makes great use of the car mechanics as well as the platforming ones. Unlike something like Car Quest, where the driving mechanics feel kind of arbitrary to the game. Instead, here we have a great combo of speed-based missions and platforming-based missions, and oftentimes they're combined into one. The main game consists of a hub world taking place in a big room, or rather a normal room that you're just really small in, and from here you explore around and look for missions to complete. These range from just simply taking place in the room, altering the room in some way, or taking place in its own bespoke sub-level, and in general, I felt like all the level designs were really clever. I particularly enjoyed the Laura's lava one, and also this one, where you just push a jar off the mantle like a little kitty cat. And on top of the game feeling great to play, it's also just really adorable, you know? I love the art style they've got going on here. The really pleasant color choices and everything synergizes really well with the flat, cel-shaded style they've got going. The vehicle designs are cute too. I particularly enjoyed this Jeep with the oversized steering wheel. It really does a great job of selling that it's a toy car. Plus there's also silly options like the little dinosaur. The vehicles all seem to just be cosmetic options though. I think it'd be fun if we could have some cars with different stats too. The demo's pretty short, but there's also a decent amount of stuff to do in it. There's a few levels I didn't even get to when I was playing it on my stream to get footage for this video, so there's enough to already get a pretty full experience, honestly. I'm very excited to see what the full game is like when it's eventually finished. It's one of those games that's just a joy to move around in, honestly. So yeah, that's the video. There were a few more toy car games I found while researching for this video, as well as the 2 Super Toy Cars sequels, so if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me cover those as well. And as I've mentioned before, if you'd like to see what I'm working on in advance, come check out my stream at twitch.tv/flutterbug. Always have plenty of racing games going on there, as well as a bunch of other games, because I do play a lot of different genres, despite what you might think from watching me on this channel. But that's all for now, and I'll see you soon.